What is my impression share? How do I get a better impression share? I want to dominate ads. I want that impression share to be higher. These are statements I hear all day in my coaching calls. So today we're going to talk about what is impression share, whether or not it matters to your business. We're going to define it and do everything that we can to dispel any myths there are around the impression share metric. First of all, impression share in Google Ads measures the percentage of impressions that your ads received out of the total number of impressions that were eligible to received, indicating how much potential traffic you could have been capturing. In other words, out of all the times that your ad could have been showing, how often is your ad actually showing up? I can understand why a business owner would want their ad to show up all the time. But if you've listened to anything on this channel, you absolutely know that showing your ad for the sake of showing your ad is not the end goal. The end goal is to meet your business objective. That being said, I still want to get into this episode because I really want to dispel the ways that you could use this metric and how it's working possibly against you, maybe sometimes with you. Hey there, and welcome back to the Google Ad Strategy Hub podcast. I'm your host, Sarah. If you're a business owner who's been throwing money at Google Ads with little to show for it, you're in the right place today. I get messages every single week from frustrated business owners saying things like, impression share is generally considered good, right? Why is mine so low? So let's get into it. Impression share is generally considered a diagnostic metric in PPC advertising. However, there are certainly scenarios and strategic reasons why a high maximized impression share doesn't matter or might even be detrimental and bad to your ad campaigns. Here are 7 reasons why impression share might not be a priority or why a low impression share might actually be acceptable. First reason, what I said above, conversions and return on ad spend are your main priority. If your campaign is highly profitable, you're hitting your return on ad spend goal, your cost per acquisition, you're hitting that, a low impression share simply means that there is more profitable traffic to explore. The focus is on quality and profit, not on maximizing ad visibility. Chasing 100% often means that you're bidding aggressively on less valuable, more expensive, or less relevant impressions, which drives up costs, could potentially lower the return on ad spend. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. Another reason, budget maximization is already occurring. So if your campaign has low impression share, but it's already spending its full daily or monthly budget on the most profitable impressions, you're essentially maximizing your performance within your current budget constraints. So the only thing that would happen is you would just spend more to get that impression share up. So a lost impression share due to budget metric would be high, but you really can't fix that without your total ad spend increasing. Broad keywords, those are going to dilute the metric. And let's just admit it, I have had clients that they will not stop focusing on impression share. And my answer at that point is fine. Okay, we'll just change everything to exact match and then your impression share will go up. And that's the truth. If you're using broad match to heavily target those broader keywords, you're casting a wider net, your available impression pool is going to go up. Oftentimes, depending on the broader keywords that you're bidding on, your pool is absolutely huge. And oftentimes it includes a lot of irrelevant searches. I see this often in B2B. And I talked about this in another one of my videos. If you are in a highly commercialized B2B space, you don't want to capture all that impression share because all of that additional impression share is going to be the consumer side. A low impression here is actually a sign that you're effectively filtering out low quality traffic or consumer traffic, the traffic not meant for you, and allowing your budget to better focus on the high performing, more specific searches that match your user intent to your business. Another factor to think about is ad ranking. So ad ranking, and you can look at the lost impression share due to rank. If that's high, you're actually losing most of your impression share due to a low ad rank. That's where quality score and bid are essentially too low. If you are going to pour more money into the campaign without fixing the underlying quality issues, you're just going to end up spending more for lower positions. So in this case, impression share doesn't matter as much as improving your quality score, which we've talked about means ad relevance. So matching your ads to the queries that people are searching in, your landing page experience, and your expected click-through rate. Again, this sometimes can be low if you're playing in a B2B space with a lot of consumer traffic. So another thing to consider when you're looking at this diagnostic metric, focusing on specific high value ad positions. So there's other metrics included in quality score, like absolute top impression share. And this can be more important actually than your overall impression share. And you might only care sometimes about showing up in the very first position. That is for somebody that's very, very, very intent on brand bidding for highly lucrative terms. Essentially, your absolute top impression share is very high and your main impression share is low. It means you're intentionally skipping the less prominent, lower value spots to focus your budget on the top spot. So sometimes that is what you want to do because you really want to be in the top for your brand, especially if you have a lot of competitors bidding on your brand. Also, the brand campaign could already be dominating. So for brand keywords, searches where your company name is in there, you ideally are going to want a high impression share, so like 90%. And once you're consistently achieving this, your impression share metric is no longer useful as a growth indicator. The focus should be on maintaining your position, ensuring your budget isn't being wasted on overly aggressive bids for a spot that you've already secured. So when you kind of wrap this all up, what I want you to take away from this video, and it was a short one today, is impression share is a diagnostic, not a goal. Impression share is best used to diagnose problems. For example, am I losing volume due to budget or rank, rather than being treated as a KPI, a key performance indicator in itself. If your primary conversions or primary KPIs are conversions, CPA, ROAS, if those are in an excellent spot, then impression share is just a data point to monitor. It's not a target to maximize or minimize. So all of that said, to wrap it up, I'd love for you to ask any more questions that you have. If you like this episode, I will produce more like this. Feel free to comment or reach out to me or book a one-on-one strategy call if you need more information to help your individual campaigns. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next episode.